Okay, that looks a little bit better. Right, so let's just get started. So I already did the value study, so obviously the tree and the roof and the grass, the shadow part, they are all one single group, so I'm just going to carry that vision. I'm using 12 by 16 Saunders Waterford. Alright, so without further ado, I'm just gonna get started. I'll start off with just drawing the location of the house, which is a pretty big rectangular shape. And there's an additional room right here, so I'm just gonna get that in there. So very loose. There's some trees up here. I'll probably do most of those with my brush, so I'm not gonna do the drawing of the tree. There's really no point of doing that right now. Just very loosely indicate where you want the things to be. And let me see. Okay, I'm gonna hide my face so it's not distracting. Just got a new haircut. Thankfully, my wife knows my hair really well. She's been cutting my hair for the past like 20 years or so. But not 20 years, like 15 years. She's been doing a very good job, so I haven't go out and get my hair done for years. And I have no complaint. It's a lot more convenient to do it at home. And since we got old boys, she get to cut all of our hair, and the money we save from those, she get to use it on her own hair, so it's a win-win for everyone. Okay. So yeah, basically that's pretty much it. This is a very loose drawing, so I'm gonna start to make some darker marks. And here we have the rooftop, the edge of the roof here, and the porch. And we've got some nice trees, bushes right in front of their house, which is quite nice, I gotta say. So I'm gonna keep those. Okay. Their second floor room. I don't know what they call this these things that kind of poking out from the roof. It's their second floor. I don't think it's attic though. But they're really cute. I really like them. Okay. Your hair fall off years ago. Well, that's one less thing to worry about, I guess. I don't mean to sound offensive though, Okay, so there's their front of the house, their side. I'm not exactly matching their house one-to-one. Obviously, this is not an architectural drawing. I mainly just want to capture the light. And I'm gonna do, there's a car parking right there, which is something that I'm going to draw, obviously. So I'm gonna go over how to draw the car. Well, I'm gonna show you how to draw a car very soon. So I'm gonna zoom in a little bit. Okay, get that in there. I need to get that white bar out of the way. Okay, separators. Okay, so the car is right here. So I'm just going to, it's like very loosely, it's not a huge part of the painting anyways. So the back of the car, the truck, the wheel. Here we got a little bit side view of the car, not large at all, just a little bit, okay? The foreshortening is very important when you're doing something like these. Quite a few students, when they draw cars, they put the side view so long, start to feel like a limousine. This is just a typical sedan car. Okay, so that's pretty much it. I'll leave a little bit of mark for the rooftop. Okay, and that's about it. I can add some windows here. Just a couple windows. There's 2 pots hanging. I don't think I'm gonna paint the pot though. Dormers. Oh, dormer. Okay. Okay. Now I know. Thank you. Thank you guys. Dormer. These 2 guys. Okay. I'll lightly just indicate where the windows on the dormers are, and that, I think that will be it. There's a trash bin here. I'm not gonna paint that in. Okay, and this, like, you know, there's no need to paint a trash can inside. Okay, so I'm gonna wet the paper again with clean water and my natural sponge. This painting, however, should be quite simple, so hopefully I'm not gonna spend a lot of time on it. Let me clean up some line work first though, so I don't get a lot of extra graphite smearing all over the place. It will smear a little bit, but hopefully it's not going to be too bad. And I'm gonna look at my painting before I start to really paint it. I'm gonna wet the paper first. So there's some huge cloud on the top. I'm probably not going to paint the cloud that heavy. I don't want that huge contrast in the sky. This is not a sky painting, contrary to our last painting, which is sky is the main character. The house is the main character here. But I might still indicate some sky, some clouds very loosely, but not for this one. Okay, so just wet the paper. I can pretty much wet it all over. This is like late afternoon lighting, so I don't think we need to keep anything white here. Even the white of the house has some warmth to it, so let me just safely wet it all over the place, so when I doing my first wash, there'll be some nice beautiful bloom. Okay, so I will start off mixing the sky color, which is where we're gonna start first. Actually, no, I'll start painting the light in first, so I'm gonna mix a little bit of smaller brush actually. Gonna mix a nice warm color. So hence a yellow, so a little bit of raw sienna, yellow ochre, whatever that is, quinacridone gold. It gets a little bit green. I'll add a little bit of orange. Okay, do want to keep it quite transparent though, so just paint that in while it is still nice and damp. Okay, dry your brush a little bit, okay? Just don't add too much water to it, even though this is the first wash. Okay, get your brush a little bit dry, otherwise it's just gonna make a huge mess. Okay, so just color of the light, which is a nice warm It's like a nice warm value right now. And I'll add a little bit of cobalt turquoise. Just add to my existing warm color. Add some orange, and then that can be some nice bright color for the trees and stuff right here. I'm just gonna paint those in right now. Okay, I'm gonna just some water and soften some of those edges. I don't need hard edges right now. Okay, so mostly that. Now I think I can start working on some of the... Now I think I can work on the sky color. Okay. Hopefully this will probably dry a lot lighter. Alright, so let's make some sky colors. So top of the sky. My goodness, the paper is already starting to dry. Okay, I'll just wet it just a little bit more because I'm gonna mix some colors. Okay, so top of the sky will be a little bit cooler, so cobalt blue. And I'll add a little bit of the cerulean blue by Mission, which is a really different cerulean blue, but it's a very, very beautiful blue. I use that a lot from my last painting. I'm just completely falling in love with it. It's a really nice blue, perfect for the type of day we have right now, which is kind of sunny after the rain, very clear blue sky. Okay, so I'm just going to... The sky, I'm just going to keep it very, very loose. I already wet some part of it, so I'm just going to paint it like that. Okay, a little bit more, just a little bit more blue here. Okay, keep it nice and loose. Okay, and as we come down, I'm gonna have a little bit more of this nice light cerulean blue down here. We don't get a lot of time with those clouds, so just really, this is not a huge deal right now. Hi Chrissy, good to see you. Sorry I didn't look at the chat. Okay, so just get those in, a little bit hints of cloud. I think this is good. Okay, that's a little bit weird shape. I'm just gonna break that. While it is still wet, you can still kind of fuzz with it a little bit. Not too much though. Okay, so I am not gonna give the cloud too much volume, because I think that might be a little bit distracting, but I think I can add just a tiny little bit, so a little bit of neutral tint, just a little bit of that. Okay, I think I'll break that a little bit. Okay, a little bit of cloud, hints of cloud down here. Okay, I think that's all we really need. Okay, I'm gonna try to soften some of the edges It's a nice damp brush. Okay, I need to stop touching it. And okay, and then as we come down here, we start to, I'm just gonna paint some warm colors. It's gonna cover mostly by the tree anyways, so no big deal. A little bit of warms, so they could be distant trees, whatever. Okay, do want to get the sky down here though. Here we go. Okay, so I'm gonna paint the roof color. I'll just give it a little bit of tint. I can work on it a little bit later as well after the first wash is dry, but okay, a little bit more kind of pinkish tint to it. So okay, it's still pretty light and transparent at this point. Okay, again, this is part of the first wash. I'm not trying hard to define what I'm painting right now. Just trying to get some of the basic color in. Okay, mostly just light and atmosphere right now. There's not much going on here. Okay, I'm just gonna grab a little bit of blue here. Just big colors, big washes. Okay. Okay, very light and transparent. Okay, don't start trying to define shadows and things like that. Okay, I'm gonna wrap up this wash very quickly. Okay, a little bit of blue, a little bit of cool color down here, some colors in the shadow, and down here I'm going to mix some warmer color, a little bit of burnt umber, very quickly. Just finish this up. Okay, there, that's about it. Okay, finish that. Okay, the cloud, very nice and subtle, very nice and subtle. So I like that quite a bit. I'll just keep it the way it is. Okay, add a little bit more. Give it a little bit of reddish tint here. A little bit of orange too, just add some warmth to it. Okay, a little bit of orange here, here. Okay, not much at all. That's the first wash. Okay, so if you look at the value study, this is all white of the paper white. So all the white of the paper. Okay, I just give it some colors. Okay, if you squint your eyes, it's almost just blended all together. There's not a lot of value like at all. So the first wash is just the light and atmosphere. Hi from India, good to see you. Okay, so okay, I'm gonna wait for it to settle a little bit, then I'm gonna start painting my next wash while I get a drink of water. Okay, I'm looking at all this water, it's making me thirsty. So I'm gonna start to paint it real soon. There's a little bit of hard edge here in the cloud, and if I don't resist, I will try to fix that, but the best thing you can do at this stage right now is just to leave it alone. Okay, you need to learn when to stop. Once something like that, once it's settling down, it's best that you don't touch it. Just let it do its thing. Okay, even if it end up, you're not completely happy with, that's part of working with watercolor, right? You never know what you're gonna get. So respect watercolor. That's what what a lot of artists say. Just respect what they want to do. If you try to change it, you try to make it work against its nature, you usually end up badly. So just respect what it's gonna do and start to let it do its thing and let it settle down. Okay, so still a little bit wet. However, I'm gonna use this time to start mixing the colors of the tree and stuff. I'm going to start by painting the background trees. And the background trees, so this is going to be the second wash, which is I'm starting to paint the middle value. So I'm going to start mixing some thicker paints. I'm actually probably need to mix a lot more. Yeah, I'm out of burnt umber. I think after I switched to this palette, the huge John Pike palette, I used the paint a lot more aggressively for some reason. But also I think it yields pretty good result too. I think sometimes if you try to save your paint too much, your watercolor always end up looking too transparent, which is not bad for a lot of things you want to do. But when you do want some really intense color and you're still painting with really transparent layers, sometimes you just end up looking dirty, and that's not what we want, right? So some of the student, not everyone, you need to use a little bit more paint, okay? Especially if you want like a nice big continuous wash, you definitely need to mix a lot more paint. Okay, so it's like a nice inconsistency here. Grabbing too much paint here. Okay, I'm gonna add just a little bit of water, let it flow a little bit better. Okay, that's a nice pile of mixture. Okay, nice soupy mix. Okay. And add a little bit of blue here. Okay, so just like this cerulean blue is really, really strong. The color from Mission Gold is really strong color, which is great. I like it. Okay, so we got our tree color here. I'm gonna mix kind of like a shadow colors of the house, which is mostly kind of cool blue color. I'll use a little bit of ultramarine blue, a little bit cooler. Okay, a little bit of neutral tint, and a little bit more alizarin crimson. Okay, pretty good. Hide my face here. Okay, so I think we can start. So I'm gonna use a bigger brush. Actually, I'm gonna use my 14 Escoda Versatile. Alright, so let's do a really quick test right here. Okay, somewhere right here. Okay, nice. Okay, so the paper is not exactly dry, as you can see. There's a little bit of bloom going on right here as I paint it in. See, especially some of the cloud areas where I wet a little bit more. But a little bit of bloom and fuzz is actually pretty good right now. I want a little bit of softness since those trees are the background. Okay, but I'm just gonna go ahead and start painting those. Now they are those evergreen trees. As our friend Bob Ross says, happy trees. What color? What do you mean what color? Like there are a bunch of colors that I'm mixing right now. If you meant blue, the blue that I use, I mean if you mean this one, that's a cerulean blue from Mission Gold. That's a very specific color that I use and that I really like lately. Okay, so those little softness, those are great. I actually like that a lot. Okay, a little bit of softness never really hurts. One thing you do want to make sure is that your mixture is dry enough. Okay, if your mixture is really watery, it's just going to give you cauliflower edges, and that's not something you're going to be happy with right now. Okay, I'm not doing that. So, okay, so, okay, I'm trying to very consciously varying my brushstroke a little bit. Okay, if I, okay, I got a message the other day saying, well, I try to just do random brushstroke and it doesn't look the same as yours. So first of all, nobody's going to have the same type of brushstroke. Okay, I mean, you can mimic what other people are doing, but it's almost like your signature. It's like the way you speak is not going to be the same. And second of all, I'm not trying to do this completely randomly. I'm still trying to think, where do I need to put my brushstroke and how they are going to look. Okay, just that I'm trying to make that decision very, very fast in the fly. So that's why sometimes it appears that I'm just doing random brushstroke, but there's quite a bit of thinking behind it. So, okay. Now, don't try to paint too dark at this point. Middle value is what we're after right now. Okay, so, okay, there's some tree back here. I'm just gonna use side of my brush and get some dry brush mark here. Now, what I need to do right now is to give a little bit of separation between the tree and the house. Okay. A little bit of connection should be okay, but the paint is quite controlled right now because they have just a little bit of moisture. Okay. Let me zoom it out. Okay, so this is the value you are after right now. Okay. Let me spray some mist on it. Okay, leave it far away. Okay, don't blast it really close. It's going to give you too big of a droplet. Okay. Okay, I'm mixing just a little bit more colors here. Needs a little bit thicker. Okay, so a little bit thicker paint here, a little bit of wet on wet just to give it a little bit of volume already. Now you can try to paint a little bit of shadow shape in here right now, but all I'm trying to do is to give it a little bit more variety and volume, so you don't have to go like really dark and stuff. Okay, I'll grab a little bit of blue actually to cool the color down. Needs a little bit of cool color here. Hi from Tucson. Great to see you. Okay, so look at those wet on wet, like how they just, nicely blend into the wash. That's the magic of watercolor, and it happens right in this stage. And that's the beauty of it. Okay, so I'm going to paint the rooftop again. Okay, a nice kind of plumish color. I'm just gonna paint those in right now. Okay, so a little bit lighter than the tree, but I grouped them as the same value just to keep myself a little bit more Just keep things a little bit simpler. So the dormer, the roof on the dormer as well, just to paint that in. Okay, don't worry about the shadow and stuff yet. We don't need to do that right now. You do want to paint around the highlight area though. Okay. A little bit misty, 40 degrees C. That's really hot. I mean, for me anyways. Yeah, we're still in like a single digit Celsius here. I mean, we get 40-degree Fahrenheit, not Celsius. Quite a bit difference. Okay, so here. I'm gonna grab my other brush. Where's my smaller brush? Here. Okay, I'm gonna grab this color and paint it here. Those cool blue color. Okay, so just a little bit of color variation right now. Okay, like if you squint your eyes at the photo, the roof of the house and the tree, they kind of blend into each other. So that's all I'm trying to do right now. Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna mix some more colors here. Okay, bring this value over to the house on the left. Okay, I'm not gonna worry about the windows and stuff right now, not the point. I want to make it just a little bit more intense here. Okay. Okay, and a little bit of hints of shadow down here. Okay, and there's a shadow cutting across here. Make sure it is a nice single wash, okay? Connect your shape. Okay, there's a little bit of bead here, and I'll use that to connect more shape over there later. So right now I am trying to kind of desperately finish the stuff in the house right now. Just not very easy. Okay, the car, I'll leave a little bit of highlight here. Okay, the wheels down here. Okay, so it helps if you pre-mix some colors so you can just kind of grab them as you need it. Okay. Car cast a shadow up to the tree area. Okay, so there's a little bit of warmth in here, so because the bounce light all over the place. Okay, that's a little bit too warm though. Okay. Add some blue to cool that off. Sorry, I'm not looking at the chat right now because I'm in a time pressure right now. Okay, so I'll leave a little bit of the highlight for the tree because some of the brighter part of the tree kind of cover up some part of the porch and the shadow of it. Okay, so okay, that's that. Okay, now. Okay, that's a tough part. Now I'm gonna add some more trees here. Okay. Okay, I see how like the weird shape of the brush. I actually use that, like, you know, since the evergreen tree gonna have those shape shooting out, the little narrow branches with tiny little leaves. So I'm use this. So, you know, always react to what you have. Okay, so this leaves and stuff, and okay, I'm just going to scrub that in. Stuff on the side here. Okay, some other trees off the frame. Those are not as important. Okay, I'm gonna try to grab whatever left here and start to just paint those in, because I do want this shape to connect. So I'm grabbing what I have, and it's really tempting that you start to dig into the water because it flows better, but at this point you really don't want to do that, okay, unless you're trying to mix more mixtures like what I'm trying to do now. Okay? Don't just add some water and think it's going to flow better. You're diluting the paint, and it's going to start to give you cauliflower edges and stuff. So don't do that. Keep your moisture, keep your mixture nice and intense. Okay, so now I can just add, you know, some more leaves and stuff here. Okay, I'm gonna spray just a little bit more. Some of the droplet will give the tree a little bit of texture, which is quite nice. I'm not afraid of some textures on my painting, like, especially for things like trees and stuff. It's trees. It's not supposed to look super clean. I mean, the wash should be clean. You don't want a lot of weird cauliflower edges unless you intended for that. You know, which does happen sometimes if you want some like dry grass and things like that. You know, it's not always bad if you know when to use it. But this case, we don't want that. I mean, I don't want that right now. Okay, so some darker trees, just a slightly darker. How long have you been painting? Good question. Watercolor specifically, probably for 4 years or so, or maybe a little bit longer, I don't know. But I've been an artist for, I don't know, more than a decade already. I went to the art college, and I was an illustration major. So most of my medium back in the days are oil and acrylic. But now, you know, it's like I'm thinking what I'm painting. So after I graduate, I self-taught digital, so Photoshop, 3D stuff, and now my day job, I'm working in a game company doing game art, so mostly 3D digital stuff. So it's about 4 or 5 years ago, I start to get into watercolor and just fall in love with the medium, really like it. It's a huge contrast to digital work, because digital, everything is, at least the type of work that I do, they are, you know, almost photoreal and with a lot of sophisticated details and stuff. you know, it's a video game. I'm making a sci-fi game, so a lot of details. I'm making like sky and vista stuff. They call it skybox, which is pretty much just the background for the game. So that's what I do during the day. And I found watercolor, and I just really enjoy those because it's just a huge relief for me when I'm doing this, as opposed to I always need to make things look photoreal and highly detailed and stuff. Which is another reason why I don't paint photoreal. I just don't have the patience. I've been noodling with details all day long already, so that's why I'm more attracted to do loose painting like these. Okay. Okay, I want a little bit more kind of green here, yeah. Some variety of greens. It gets a little bit too warm all over the place. We want some, yeah. Okay, but I need to step back a little bit. Okay, I don't want to lose all of the light that I paint in the first wash. So I'm gonna like clean my brush and dry it. So like damp brush, can use those to soften some of the edges. So they become a little bit softer. Okay. Now I need to wrap this. There's a huge tree in front of it blocking the way. I don't think I'm going to paint that though. Yeah, I want to keep the foreground relatively clear. So I'm gonna make, say, blues, alizarin crimson, and grab whatever random color I have here just to make a gray color. Okay, so we got some nice light going on here, so I'm gonna keep that pocket of light, but then I'm going to start painting some shadow down here. Hello from Florida. My goodness, it's pretty late there. Thank you for being here. You know, I know quite a few guys are in the East Coast, so I really appreciate that you stay up for this. However, if you are tired, go get some rest. You know, I will keep the video up tomorrow. If you don't see it, that means the painting is a complete failure, and I don't want anybody else to see it. So far, I don't see that's going to happen. I mean, I don't know if it's going to turn into a very, very good painting, but that's not really my intention anyways. If I wanted like a really good painting or like a really detailed and, I don't know, commission and stuff, I usually just work without doing live stream and stuff. Doing live stream while painting and talking is, not always a best way to work. So this is just something that I enjoy doing with you guys. Okay, so nice shadow here. We start to see some light, aren't we? Yeah. Okay. I think some of the area can be a little bit darker, but this is a tricky part. It's a tricky thing to do right now. I want to darken some of the areas. Like this part here, I want it to be a little bit darker. Okay. Because after it dries, it start to lighten up a little bit, so I need to make sure that it's dry enough for it to stay. Okay, so I think this is fine. Yeah, just keep it simple. There's a lot of detail in the house. I don't want to make things too complicated. I am good, thank you. Okay, so a little bit warm color here. Okay. Well, now that I finished this, it's time for me to do some wet on wet work. It's coming along. Okay, some more burn umber. Okay, so now is a good time for me to do some wet on wet. Make sure wet on wet work for the tree. Since I finished the shape, now I can go in there and start to work a little bit more. And as long as my mixture is dry enough, I don't need to worry that it's going to ruin the wash. Okay, so some more dark here. Evergreen tree is a little bit tricky sometimes because their local colors are usually a little bit darker. So to make it have more sense of light, I need to add more dark into it. Okay. And of course these trees down here, they are in the shadow, so I'm just going to paint some darker colors in. Okay, so these all kind of blend into each other, which I like that. Okay, so and I do want to add a little bit more dark here while it is still wet, so it kind of blends in a little bit better. Now I need to do a final wash later to really add some dark, so I don't need to do a lot of dark right now. I just want some softness, some soft dark within the washes. Okay, coming along though. Alright. Okay, I'm gonna stop this before I overwork. How do you think warm and cool color in this photo before we start to draw? So obviously the sunlight, wherever the sunlight hits, is going to be warm, but usually the shadow area is going to be cool. That's usually how it works. Okay, so I'm going to come back on the value study just to get some really dark stuff in. I'm just gonna grab I think this is cobalt black. So whatever, I'm going to just do some real quick dark. So the window dark, gonna add some dark here, and there's some really dark shadow over here. Okay, a little bit bigger, darker windows. Okay, the car, of course, let's get some nice dark in here. The side view mirror, dark the wheel, got some dark shadow over here, down here, just here. Okay, I like how the shadow is a little bit transparent here, so I'm gonna keep it that way. Okay, and some more really dark stuff inside the porch. I think it's the door, whatever that is. Okay, a little bit of dark detail here. Okay, some more dark down here, some cast shadow Speaking of cast shadow, some cast shadow here, cast by the dormer, and the cast shadow from the tree. Okay, this some window here. Okay, so we got some nice dark down here as well. Okay. Just value study is so easy because you're just using a single color, but it's a great way to get your mind right. Okay, so some dark details on the trees here. Okay. Dark here, some dark there. Whatever, I'm just really loosely get that in. Okay, so these are darker. These are pretty dark. Should have used a bigger brush. Okay, so some really dark stuff in here. Okay. A little bit shadow detail on the curb, on the driveway. And I think that's pretty much it. I mean, I'm probably gonna do, a little better job on the trees and stuff, but I think that's the, that's pretty much the point. Like your eye kind of go into this pocket of light here, which is something that I do want to convey. Okay, so that should do it. Okay, I'm back to my, I'm gonna come back to my color version. Okay, now I'm starting to hit some dark end, and hopefully that the painting is going to look a lot more finished at this point. Okay, so actually gonna grab some of the black here just to make it darker quicker. So the dark wash, like the final wash, painting the dark, this will be a little bit less stressful because they're not all connected. So I can slow down just a little bit as I'm working on those. So the roof right here. Okay, so the roof here. Okay, painting that nice shadow. It's casting by the dormer. I love those shadows, so those, they are definitely going in. Okay. And okay, and there's a little bit shadow cast by the chimney. Okay. I'm trying to stay a little bit loose, so I'm holding my brush back just a little bit so that I don't focus on painting tight brushstroke too much. So there's some shadow here. These shadows are casting by the distant trees, so a little bit of that. I'll do some dry brushing just to make it a little bit softer. Okay, because those trees are casting the shadow from quite far away, so A little bit of dry brush stroke is fine. Just kind of indicate those. Okay, we already start to see more light here, which is what I wanted. Okay, now I'm going to paint those windows in. This doorman looks crazy bright, so a little bit of why do leave the dark on your value study until staging, just so that I can kind of work in tandem. So if I finish the dark right away, I kind of lose my train of thought. I mean, I can finish it all at once. That's not a huge deal. I just choose to kind of work them in tandem so I can think about what I do while I'm painting. Okay. Okay, this windows, I'm gonna try to just stay pretty loose on those. I don't need to paint every single window pane. They're tiny little window grid and stuff. Yeah. No. Keep it loose. Okay. Okay, now like some more dark detail here, a little bit dark in the underneath the roof. Okay, here a little bit one here. There's like a collar here. I'll go skip that a little bit, and I'm going to go into the house and get that door in. And some other random details and stuff. Okay, this shadow of the roof here, get that in. There's a little bit dark roof here as well. And there's okay. I'm using quite a bit more neutral tint now. I need this to be really dark inside the shadow. The dark inside the shadow. I'll get that in here, so you kind of see something is in, and it's still kind of wet, which is great because I actually want the dark in here to be very subtle, because they're like dark within the dark. So let me actually just paint that window in right now. See how soft they are, even though I'm using a very dry mixture, they're nice and soft, which is quite nice. I want that. I want that soft, suggestive, dark detail inside the shadow. Okay, just that. Okay. Okay, there's another window here. It's a little bit lighter, so I'm just gonna add some water and grab some warmer color. Okay. These are a lot wetter. See, there's some bead gathering here. Okay, when those dry, they are going to be a lot lighter. At least I hope they will be. Okay, there's a cast shadow here, casting by whatever, I have no idea, but I like the shape, so I'm just gonna keep it that. Okay, now let's go back to the dark. Okay, so okay, paint that car in. Okay, I'm gonna make it a little bit cooler. I think it's kind of like a purplish or navy blue car. Okay, add it to that dark shadow down here, connect that to the wheel here, and connect that here in the side of the car, a little bit of shadow on the bottom, the side view mirror, a little bit of shadow under the hood here. Okay, so I'm gonna add a little bit of red here. Okay. Drier, a little bit too wet. So I'm gonna add a little bit of red into the mixture just to make some more interesting color here. I'll give this window a little bit of tint. Feels a little bit too light. Just a little bit tint though. Oh Jesus, too wet. Small flat brush. I don't know. I don't want everything to look like really clean and flat. That's why I don't really use a flat brush. I mean, I like this being a little bit, you know, more crooked and random. I don't know, it's just me. I mean, if you like flat brush, go for it. That's totally a personal choice. So I'm not discredit what you said. You know, I definitely agree. If I use a flat brush, I can probably make it look a lot cleaner. I'm just really used to working this way. Okay, so let's zoom it out again. We'll definitely start to see some light and like nice, you know, nice details here and there. Okay. Now after some side, I do think I can just, you know, add a little pot here. I think just add a little bit of fun detail in this. Very subtle though. Okay, so there's some like panels and plank in the house, and I don't want to paint all of that detail in, so just a little bit of suggestion here. You know, tiny little stroke. It's the tip of my brush, and okay, just a little tiny bit of suggestion. Okay, and okay, is that good enough? Okay. All right. Okay. I think this shadow can be a little bit darker. All right. Okay, so this is looking okay. I'm gonna need to wrap up with painting the trees and stuff. Yeah, I'm gonna use a smaller brush just so that I can paint those dark in a little bit better. So I'm gonna use a little bit more burnt umber, neutral tint, and cool it down with some blue. I use both blue. I use a little bit cerulean blue. Okay, so a little bit warmer. Okay, so now those trees will pop. Okay, still start to feel more structure of the tree now. It's just this quick dark end here. And especially down here, when I paint those trees down here, the roof, the light of the roof will pop, even though the roof itself has some value. And once I put those dark in, it's going to help a lot with the value. Okay, just a very simple value grouping. And of this loose interpretation. If you want realism, use a smartphone. I mean, I don't. I'm not against realism at all. Okay, I'm totally fine. Some people playing like hyper realism. I forgot who is an artist I actually follow. I think Theodore or something. Yeah, he does like beautiful hyper realistic painting. Like I appreciate those. It's just not for me. Like when I look at it, it's like wow, that's a lot of work and it's really beautiful. If it's done well, like good realism artists, they know what to do. Like they don't just paint a lot of photoreal detail. They actually able to paint like great lighting and stuff. But again, just like it's I appreciate them. It's just not something that I like to do. I don't have that patience and focus. Like if like I tried I tried like once or twice and just like no, I can't. Like the tightest thing I did is like a portrait of my wife when she was pregnant. I did it one. That one got accepted into Splash, which I'm really happy, but I don't usually paint portrait that I don't usually paint it that tight. So yeah, I think there's some really respectable photoreal painter. I'm just not one of them. I can't. And they're really popular too. They're just for me, I think a lot of photoreal painters or like pencil artists that got like hundreds, thousands of followers on Instagram. So everybody's so impressed by their ability. Yeah, so my followers on Instagram are relatively small. I got like 3,000 something. Like I can even use this swipe up feature in my IG story, which is kind of sad. But hey, it's okay. Every single person who follows me, whether it's on YouTube or Instagram, I appreciate so much. Like, so you guys watching now, I appreciate you a lot. I mean, it's, I'm never see myself as somebody who people like to follow and want to learn from. So since I'm doing YouTube and stuff, it's been really encouraging for me personally. I got haters too. I'm not beyond hating. I got hate email before, like, hey, your painting sucks, or like your painting looks cartoonish. You try to copy Joseph's bookish, blah blah blah, and my video always get dislike as well. But those are not the people I am really caring about. So, anyways. Again, I appreciate you guys. Okay, I think I can scratch a little bit of the... I can't find my palette knife. I'm just gonna use this, whatever this is. Okay, so when your paint is thick enough, okay, you can do a little bit of scratching. Just gonna, you can scratch away some paint and reveal some details. So for tree trunk, tree branches and things like that, those are pretty useful. Now don't overdo it and don't do it too hard. It might actually damage the paper. Just a little trick that you can use. Okay, now I think we're almost done. This is way too light though, so we need to darken that quite a bit. Okay, after that is darkened, I think we can call it a day. So I'm at the very end of my painting here. So okay, I want to just clean this up a little bit. Okay. a little bit more dark under here. Okay, so I'm gonna mix a nice big pile of shadow here. I'm new to watercolor from blank sheet of papers. So beautiful. Thank you. I mean, I did spend, a couple years trying to make it decent. I'm not gonna say good. Take some time and, get some practice and stuff. It's definitely not a one-day thing, and watercolor is a journey. It's a long journey. It's probably a lifetime journey as well. And when you first start, you struggle with how it looks. You struggle with the material. It doesn't work the way you want it to. And after you get a hang of it, you start to working on your style, your brushstroke, your subject matters, and trying to get better at it. Especially trying to find your own style, which is something I'm still working on right now. And then your sense of composition, all these things, they are all part of the journey of making a good watercolor painting. Definitely not the easiest medium out there, but for me it's the most fun. Okay, so I'm gonna darken those trees. I actually want to make it a little bit cooler here, so I'm gonna wrap this tree up rather quickly. I don't want to fuzz it too much. Okay, so this is a cast shadow here. Okay, I'm trying to force myself to paint bigger brushstroke down here. Okay, I think this is good. I like how simple it become. I think I was doing too much detail here, so a little bit less detail here kind of force you to kind of look at this a little bit more. It's just become like a big chunk of shape, which is something I like. Okay, so I'm gonna add a little bit of kind of yellow in it. This is some grass and stuff. Okay. And, okay, seeing a little bit of grass here as well. Just give it some color variation. Okay, I think this is pretty much it. It paints up after lunch. Yes, yeah, mostly they are the Escoda brush that I review. It's kind of my go-to brush now. My number 10, number 14, Escoda Versatile, and my big 2 mop brush, the number 18 and number 14, Escoda Ultimo. So this 4 brushes are mainly the brush that I use. I use my Perla for the you know, for the architectural detail and stuff. Yeah, so mostly just those. Get the paper kind of buckle, so this looks kind of weird right now. But yeah, after it's dry, hopefully it'll look better. So yeah, I enjoy this painting quite a bit. Hope you guys do too. Don't know, I might touch up a little bit some of this. I think I can use another layer. Some of the tree can be a little bit darker. Just grabbing whatever color I have here. Okay. Yeah, those dark I put in, they're pretty much dry, so I can just kind of do those safely. And I do think we can give the roof another layer. I mean, I like how light it is, but it's a little bit too similar to the white part of the house. So just going to glaze over it. This is a Kolinsky brush. I'm using a softer hair brush just so that it'll be a little bit more gentle on the paper. Yeah, I think that helps a little bit. Yeah, that anchors the roof down. Yeah, it looks a lot better now. Amazing how little you need to do to tidy up the whole painting. Okay, I'm gonna make this red a little bit more opaque, a little bit brighter. So this is just like some quick touch up now. Okay, yeah, they're synthetic, Jeff. You missed a star. This is a house I've been in. Well, this is my neighbor's house, my neighbor across the street. So I've been looking at this view like every day now from the window of my house. So yeah, I like how the lighting is in the morning and the afternoon. Anyways, okay, I'm gonna wrap up my video here. Thank you so much for watching. Yeah, I think it's been going on long enough. Thank you for being here with me, and stay safe and healthy. It's very, very important. If it's the first time you watch, hope you subscribe to my channel and yeah, follow my channel. And I will try to do a live stream painting every week if I can. All right.